Hello, and welcome to the virtual open house for the 2020-2021 school year. And this is for AP Physics 2. So I'm Andrew Beck, and I'm your student's AP Physics 2 teacher. And it's been going well so far. I've been really enjoying having all your students in class, so hopefully they're having a good time too. But just a little bit about me. This is my third year teaching overall and my third year at ETHS. And this is my second year teaching AP Physics 2. So we tried it out last year, went well, and this year is off to a good start. So I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. And this summer I started working on my master's from Montana State University. And I really love teaching, and I'm excited to get to do it again this year. If you need to contact me, my email is becka@eths.k12.il.us. And my school phone number is 847-424-7674. And that'll route through to my cell phone. I don't know if it works yet. I set it up, but nobody's called me yet. So if it doesn't work, just shoot me an email and we'll figure out why it doesn't work. Just to kind of start us off thinking about like, hey, what is physics? What is this class that your student's taking? So physics is really just using data and observations to discover rules and laws about the world around us. So it's saying, hey, this is the stuff that we notice. How can we explain it? How can we make up mathematical rules or laws that say, hey, this is what's actually going on? We can explain this. And what's really cool about physics is it's everywhere, it's everything, and it's really applicable to everything that's going on in a day-to-day life. So you see physics from the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep. And it's a really exciting topic to be able to study just because of how relevant and useful it is in studying the world around us. And we're thinking more specifically about what AP Physics 2 is. So all of your students have taken physics courses to get to this point. So either AP Physics 1 or Chem Phys. And this is kind of adding on to that. So it's saying, hey, we learned these rules, we learned these laws in our previous physics classes, and how can we apply them to more unique situations? So AP Physics 2, kind of the College Board definition of it, is it's an algebra-based introductory college-level physics course. Within it, students are going to be able to design labs, participate in in-class activities, hands-on. That was from the College Board before this happened, but we're still doing some hands-on activities. But inquiry labs and really figuring out what's going on in terms of systems, fields, force, interactions, charge, change, conservations, waves, and probability. So it's very all-encompassing. And really, if we're going to kind of break it down, the main difference between previous AP Physics classes or Chem Phys and AP Physics 2 is that AP Physics 2 is very more small scale. We'll kind of see the units that we're going to look at later, but everything before is very macroscopic, saying, okay, what's happening to these large objects? What rules or things are governing what's happening to these large objects? And with AP Physics 2 is we're saying, let's look at smaller scale systems. So let's look at fluids. Let's look at thermodynamics. Let's see what these particles are really doing. So it's kind of cool to look at a more microscopic level as opposed to just, hey, what's going on in these large scales? So in class, the class is built around these open-ended questions and simulations. We're going to be doing, it's a very lab-heavy course, so I'm trying to figure out ways that we can still do labs. All your students received a lab kit, so we're doing some labs from there. And then we also have online simulations. We have more like thought-based labs. And then we also have access to this interactive website where we can run labs off of there. So we're still trying to find ways to bring labs into the AP Physics 2 course. And in the class, one of the goals is to stimulate curiosity and work on problem solving skills. And it's cool because it's a different way of thinking. It's not just rolling up to a question and being like, okay, I have this value, I have this value, I have this value, I can plug them in and I can solve this question. It's a lot of saying like, hey, okay, what do I need to solve? What variables do I need to actually get to this final solution? And thinking about like, okay, how can I actually break down a problem and how can I solve it? It's kind of a different way of thinking, but it's a really creative and fun way to think about physics in the world. So we do a lot of trying to do discussions. So far, the discussions we've done on Zoom have done pretty well. A lot of learning with each other, so working in breakout groups. Again, like I said, it is very lab-centric. It's challenging, but it's really fun. Hopefully your students have been having fun so far. I've been having a lot of fun teaching them and like watching them do experiments or build something. And hopefully it's kind of, interactive and engaging and still active, which is cool. So one of what we really want to build up in AP Physics 2, it's not just learning the content, but it's also learning how to do science. How do we perform science in our everyday lives? Maybe if we don't go on and take more science in the future, what skills are still going to carry over. So it's a lot of modeling. So creating models or images or drawing or these physical models that can explain what we see around us. So being like, hey, I can't actually see the air particles, but how can I represent that? Working on using math, asking questions, developing experiments, taking data and analyzing it and saying, oh, this is what I'm seeing. What does this actually mean? Creating an argument. So saying, hey, this is the data I took. This is what it means. And this is my interpretation of it. And then connecting between different ideas that we've learned in the past. So saying, hey, we had this physics idea before. How does it connect to these smaller scale particles that we're looking at in AP Physics 2? Kind of the day-to-day. Each day looks a little bit different, and we're still trying to figure out what the class looks like, how it should run. But I think we're in pretty good of a groove right now. But what our day kind of looks like is we have these breakout groups in Zoom. So we'll start off class, everybody will be in there, and then I'll just kind of put everybody in random breakout groups, and I'll say, hey, just talk to each other, just to kind of replicate what that looks like in a regular classroom. When you come in, you're talking to the students around you. So trying to replicate that. Then we'll work on some sort of intro question to get us going, either to remind us about the previous day or week's learning, or something new, being like, hey, here's this new situation. This is what we're going to be learning about today. Tell me what you're thinking so far. Then we'll look at some sort of phenomena. Either I'll say, hey, take out your lab kit, and then we'll use something in there, or we'll do some sort of lab from that, or we'll watch a video, or we'll look at some sort of phenomena, and we'll say, okay, well, what can we what do we want to know about this? What do we notice? What questions can we solve? How can we write a procedure to figure out what's going on? How can we take data and actually test it? So we're using either real life, the simulations online, or online interactives. Then we can analyze the data, discuss what we find in kind of a large scale setting on Zoom. And then either kind of we'll use the discussion to formalize everything and say, hey, this is what we noticed. These are the trends that we saw. Or I'll give some notes and be like, hey, this is what we saw. Then we'll practice it in our breakout groups, so either doing like a Google form to work on questions or a Google Doc, just to kind of actually do it instead of just saying, hey, we did the lab. Now we're actually formalizing and practicing. And then we'll end it with kind of like a quiz, and then we'll start with the next thing. So the topics that we cover, the units in AP Physics 2, the first semester is going to be fluids, thermodynamics, electric force, field, and potential, and then electric circuits. And then semester 2, we deal with more abstract topics like magnetism and electromagnetic induction, geometric and physical optics, and then quantum, atomic, and nuclear physics. So really cool topics, and again, kind of looking more at a smaller scale instead of larger scale objects, which is really fun and kind of a unique thing that not a lot of people get to learn about. So this course ends with an AP Physics 2 exam from the College Board. Right now, the College Board, I don't think they know what that looks like, but they have a date scheduled for Friday, May 7th. And on there, we're going to build up a lot of the skills throughout the year that we're going to need for the test. So all of the exams in this class are going to be old AP tests, and we're really going to build up these skills that they want to test on the AP exam. They're going to have 50 multiple choice questions and 4 free response questions. And one thing that's a little bit unique about what they're doing is that they are not cutting down any content. They say, hey, we recognize that a lot of people are in unique learning situations, but they have not cut down any content like they did last year. If your student was in an AP class last year and you may be like, hey, they cut down some content, are they doing that again? It's going to cover the same exact content as a normal AP test. So the pacing of this class may be a little bit quicker, just because we need to make sure that we cover everything for the AP test. So all that we usually would in a normal school year. And then kind of finally thinking about grading, or my grading / homework policies. So classwork is going to be 25%, just whatever they're doing in class that's not more lab focused. And then labs are another 25%. Skills checks are going to be like quizzes. So that's just kind of how I call them. Instead of calling them quizzes, it's just like, hey, it's a way to check your skill. It's a way to check for mastery. And these are all retakeable. So if you see that your student's grade drops because of a skills check, I'll try to get on them a little bit about talking to me to either retake that in AM support or in office hour after school on Wednesday or Friday. And if you notice, hey, they haven't done that, that grade hasn't changed, then just kind of give them a little kick in the right direction and remind them they're able to retake those. And then we'll have unit assessments at the end of every unit, and students will be able to make up points through doing corrections on that. So still don't know how it'll run exactly during this e-learning, but usually they'll have a week after they get the assessment back to make up and do corrections and explain what they did correctly or what they need to work on individual ideas in order to improve. So, still don't know what that'll look like, but there will still be opportunities to make up points on the unit assessments. I think that's all that I have. So I'll kind of put this back up here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out, either give me a call or send me an email. And yeah, I've been really enjoying this year. We've been doing some fun things working with fluids so far. And I look forward to the upcoming units. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, let me know. And yeah.